This is Youth Sunday, so I think they should help me deliver the word. How many of y'all here with them? Y'all okay with that? Y'all okay with the young people helping me deliver the word today? All righty. All right. Tell me when you're ready for me to go, baby. Y'all ready for me to go? Yeah, I work on the feedback, gentlemen, in the back. Hallelujah. So I'm going to be reading from the King James Version of the Bible. So the Bible tells me in Daniel chapter 1, verse 1, it says, in the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. If you don't know what besiege means, it means to take captives and take prisoners and to take people and to bring them against their will into a place that they don't want to go. You besiege them, you put your siege work around them, you starve them out, and eventually they are defeated. And so they took some captive. How many of y'all hear me today? And they didn't want to go, but they had to go. They had to leave their families. They had to go captive. How many of y'all hear me today? But it's only one night though, right? And the king spake unto the master of his eunuchs. He spake unto the master of his eunuchs that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the princes of the ruling class of people. And he has specifications for these people as they pick these people from the ruling classes. So they came from the ruling classes of Judah and Judea, of the tribes of Israel. And so the categories that they were looking for children in whom there was no blemish. They were well favored, skillful in wisdom, cunning in knowledge, and of understanding of science, and had ability in them to stand in the king's palace. And that they might teach the learning and tongue of the Chaldeans. And so the king appointed to them a daily provision. He appointed a daily provision of food. Provision means food. So the king appointed a daily provision of special food that only the king ate. And so it looks like they're bringing this daily provision before us now. Of special food that only the king ate from the king's table. His special provisions they brought. And they brought these provisions and they laid them down before those who were taken out of Judea and out of the children of Israel. But as they looked on the table, some of these things that's on the table, I see crabs and I see shrimp and I see the wine, the king's wine and the king's food. And I see a number of things that the children of Israel were not supposed to eat or be partakers of. But now they're in a foreign land and they're in a foreign place. So what is it that they're going to do in this foreign land and in this foreign place where now they've been taken from their families and taken from where the temple of their God was and taken to the land of Babylon, to King Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. And so the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the king's wine which he drank, and so to nourish them for 3 years, and at the end that they might stand before the king. That they might stand before the king. Now among these, as they're trying to look at what they're going to eat, they're just scarfing this stuff down. And I see a few kids here there saying, no, we don't want that stuff because that's not what our God wants us to eat. So among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And they didn't want to eat from the king's table. And so these three, they got these different names that they gave them. And unto Daniel, they gave the name Belshazzar. I don't think he liked that name very much because it means something different than Daniel. And to Hananiah, they gave the name Shadrach. And unto Mishael they gave the name Meshach. And to Azariah they gave the name Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart. Where's Daniel at? But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor of the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested that the prince of the eunuchs, that he might not defile himself. And in the course of time, in all manner of wisdom, and in all manners of understanding, that the king inquired of them, meaning Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, as they changed their names to be in Daniel, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians, the astrologers, and all that were in the realm of the king of Babylon. So the king is like looking, he's seeing these other people, they're scarfing this stuff down, he's inspecting them. They don't look healthy, they don't look clean, and they don't seem as wise for some reason. And then he looks at Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and he looks at them and they inspect them before the king of Babylon. And they look very wise. They look very clean and healthy. And so he said, these are the ones that I choose. And he appoints them a place of honor. Come on, give a hand clap to my actors today. My actors today. They did a marvelous job. You can leave the table there if you want. You can leave the table there. How many of y'all like the dramatization right there of the text? I've never done that before, so it was kind of fun to do. I thought that they would enjoy that. Instead of me just reading it, I would have them kind of act it out. So I appreciate the acting. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into this message. The title of the message is Remember Who You Are. Title of the message is Remember Who You Are. So I want you to do something. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor. Neighbor. Come on, find somebody. Say, neighbor. Neighbor. The title of today's message is Remember Who You Are. Come on, look at your neighbor behind you or beside you and say, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. The title of today's message is to remember who you are. So I'm going to ask that when you leave church today and you begin to go home and somebody asks you, what did he preach about today? You better remember what we just now said. Remember who you are. So y'all think that's, you go to the cookout and people say, oh, I was at church. We had a good time at church today. Oh, we had a good time. Oh, what they talk about? Gee whiz, I don't know what they talked about, but it was good though. Hallelujah. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? So we're talking about Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and how they went to exile into Babylon. And of course, we call them the 3 Hebrew boys. So they were thrown also into a fiery furnace. Right? They were taken from their families. From their families. Tough thing to experience, being taken from their families. And their families were being killed. Killed their family members. Killed all of them. Any connection with their heritage, with their identity. Trying to strip them of who they were. Killed their family members. Some of y'all hear what I'm saying today. They were afraid, but to their surprise and being in this situation, their captors were not really treating them that bad. How many of y'all hear me? They were surprised. They might have killed their family members and they might have enslaved their people, but they didn't treat the people who they picked out. The ones who they wanted to influence, they didn't treat them bad. So I'm sure they were confused as to why these people killed all these people, took us from our land, and why is it that they are treating us good? Why are they treating us good? Sometimes when people are treating you good, you got to pay attention to what it is. I remember one cartoon I watched, they was giving them all this food because they wanted to eat them. They wanted them to get nice and plump. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? Sometimes you got to understand why people are treating you nice. And sometimes maybe they want to use you in a sacrifice and they treated you good because you're about to be offered to their gods. You don't know how this is going to turn out. But they were treating them really good to their surprise. They were treating them good. But that treatment of good was as a price for their identity. That treatment of good was as a price for their souls, if you will. Their souls, for them to turn away from who they were. How much does it cost to get you to be a sellout? Some people say, give me $10,000, I'll sell out. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? I mean, I watched it. I ain't going to tell you that. It's funny, though. I'm going to give y'all 4 points on. We're going to be done, and we're going to go out here and continue with the festivities. The first point is going to be family. The second one is ability. The third one is identity. And the fourth one is mind. I always love youth Sundays. This is my first time as a pastor having a youth Sunday, as a senior pastor. I was the youth pastor for over 10 years, but this is my first time in recent time preaching a youth Sunday. Amen. You know what I'm saying? Youth Sundays are always exciting. It was always exciting to see the word. They see what the young people were going to do. How many of y'all like that video that they put together? So that was mostly Josiah who did the video. We added a few more clips in there to show some more of the event, but Josiah, that young man, did a good job with that video. Give him a hand clap for that. And they turned it over like this. It was done yesterday. I mean, we did some stuff this morning, whatever, but it was done yesterday. Wow. Like that. Good job. Good work, young man. Y'all saw him up there dancing and stuff. I said, okay. I see y'all. It was good. So those are the 3 points, 4 points today. Family, ability, identity, and mind. And by way of family, when you think of family, like I said, they were taken from their families. And one thing that the enemy, in that situation, it was King Nebuchadnezzar. One thing that the enemy always wants to do is he wants to bring a divide between you and your family. All the time. If somebody's trying to manipulate you, he wants to separate you from those who may have influence in your life. So they got to bring a division with your family. In the situation with Daniel, they pretty much killed his family. So, I mean, that's another level of what he experienced. But the thing is, how well do you really know your God? It was Daniel who wrote, those who knew their God were strong and did exploits. Because he remembered being taken from his family, too. But actually, the angel gave him that, though, when he wrote that. That was a prophecy about a future time. But how much do you really know God for yourself? Because when they took them from their family, their parents weren't there to tell them to go to church no more. Their parents weren't there to tell them to, you can't do this or you can't do that. Sometimes, how many of y'all get mad when your parents tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that? I know y'all just love it. Y'all better than me. I was talking about a game called Mortal Kombat, and I remember I had this game and I wanted to buy this game, and I bought the game and I took it to my dad and said, look, Dad, I got a good deal on this game. And he saw the game. He said, no, you can't bring that in my house. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. Is it really that serious? Why are our parents always trying to mess up us from having fun? I just want to play a game. I ain't trying to really kill nobody and rip their head off and pull their spine out. I just want to do it on the game. I don't want to do it in real life. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? See, it started out, I was playing my dad in the game. And as I'm playing them in the game, I remember that was when you had Blockbuster. You rented consoles if you didn't have them from Blockbuster. So I rented a Super Nintendo back in the day, and I put the game on. I said, hey, Dad, check out this game. So my son was like, oh, okay, son. And he played the game when we were having a good time. And all of a sudden, I put this code in. It's called the blood code. So you can kill people in the game, right? So I put this blood code in, and I'm playing my dad, and we're having so much fun. All of a sudden, this guy goes, finish him. And my dad's like, okay, son. And it gets dark outside, and it's like, dun-dun-dun. And I like pull his head off or something, or rip his heart out or something. And my dad was just like, what in the world? He said, take this game and never bring it in my house again. I'm like, Dad, why did I put the blood code in? I could have put the blood code in when he wasn't playing me. Man, why I do that? So we wonder why our parents do the things that they do. But when they were taken to Babylon, what you got to understand is they treated them nicely. They treated them nicely. So imagine you were taken from your family and these people killed your family. Okay, y'all ever watched, what's the movie with Thanos? What movie was that? The Avengers, one of them, right? What was it? Anyway, so Thanos had the girl, he was treating the girl real nice, gave her a little knife to put in her hand, and then he was killing her family on the other side, and then she went back to look for her family. He said, no, look this way. And he just killed all her family and wiped them out. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And then he raised her as his daughter. And he treated her good. But he wiped out her whole family. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? So how do you handle that when somebody treats you good in a way to manipulate you? See, when they were taken from Babylon, they gave them wine to drink, gave them the crabs that they wasn't supposed to eat. We can eat crabs now, but they wasn't supposed to eat them. You got what I'm saying? Gave them all this stuff. So what if you went somewhere and you were taken and somebody took you away from your family and they said, your parents said you can't be on TikTok all day? You could be on TikTok as much as you want. You can make all the videos you want. Maybe here's an extra iPad for you. Here's some extra phones for you. As a matter of fact, here's a studio. Make all the videos you want. Play all the games you want to play. You don't ever have to do anything, but you got what I'm saying? But some of y'all forget who you were. If your parents weren't there, would you have the discipline to say, you know what, maybe I don't need to be playing videos all day long, all night long? See, it got quiet. The young people get sensitive when I talk about this TikTok and these videos and stuff. This thing is another level. I mean, we had our stuff. They got different stuff. How many of y'all know we had our stuff in the generation before mine had their stuff? Everybody had their stuff. And those things aren't all bad, by the way. Like I said, they did use TikTok. They did that video on. You see the creativity? He put that video together on TikTok. He did it in like 10 minutes or so. Creativity, ability that our young people have within them. Right? But anyway, so no rules and all this stuff. Don't have to go to church. Would you go to church if your parents ain't make you go to church? Good God Almighty. Some of us would be in bad shape if our parents didn't make us go to church. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? But we all have that Babylonian experience where we're away from our parents and our parents aren't around. See, I grew up before too. I mean, I ain't just started living now. You know, when you're young, your parents not always around. And some of the people that's telling you to do stuff is bad sometimes as adults, as I look back in my memory. It was adults that sometimes gave us the bad idea to do bad stuff. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying? And so you be on the bus, you be outside. I remember I would have friends, and these people definitely did not smoke. They ain't smoke cigarettes, they ain't smoke weed or whatever they call it now. They didn't vape, I guess that's what they do now, right? But all of a sudden, we all hung out together, and all of a sudden, somebody come over there, some older guy, hey, you want to see the show? Yeah, let me see that. They doing all this fancy blowing of the cigarette stuff. I'm like, dude, you with me all the time. I ain't never seen you do that. Yeah, you want to see this, Larry? Nah. What you going to do when they come? Are you going to stand or you going to just try to fit in? Everybody got to deal with it. Adults got to deal with it too. What you going to do? The pressure to fit in comes to everybody, not just children. It comes to adults too. And it's not easy. You got to already have a made up mind. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? You can't just depend on your parents not to tell you to do stuff. You got to try to understand why they trying to tell you not to do it. You're going to be an adult, and you trust me, you see all these adults here? You're going to get a chance to do all that you want to do, however you want to do it. You're going to get a chance to do it your way, the way St. Frank Sinatra said it, my way. I did it my way. You're going to have the opportunity to do it your way. We just don't want you to have to learn from the hard lessons that some of us had to learn. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? Glory be to God. Ability was the second thing I wanted to talk about. See, it's not no reason that the enemy wants you, but he wants your ability. And that's the problem. Some of us don't realize what we have. And it's easy to take something for somebody when they don't even know that they got something. You don't even know what you got. People see what you have and they want what you have. You don't even realize that it's something. Like if you got gold, you don't know what gold is. And they're like, hey, I give you this apple right here. How about that? Just give me that ugly gold thing there. Oh, yeah, sure. That's how people hustle you out when you don't know what you got. And I watch that kind of stuff happen all the time. I felt bad for people. Man, he hustled you right now. That joint is like, you could get that out the vending machine for like $0.25. And you gave him that for that. But when you don't understand what you have, it can be easily taken or manipulated. One of the worst things is when you don't understand what you have within yourself. That's right. Glory be. You think these entertainers, look, when you see these entertainers, you think they all just got all this money? You think they all just got all this money because they got they on TV and stuff. They're not all the richest people. The richest people in the world is people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and those people are like some of the richest people in the world. All these entertainers ain't that rich. They get pimped out. You want to know how that look? If you can sing real good and you willing to prostitute your body and let them tell you to wear whatever to wear, do whatever to do, they look at you, they size you up. I think they got it. Come on to the label. They put you on the label. Wear this, do this, say that. Dress like this, do this, say this, do that. And they control your whole life. And they pay all this money. You think it's your money. They pay all this. They're going to deduct that money from what you should be getting later. And you're going to find out you only got a little bit of money. They take all that money and they make you famous. They put your posters up everywhere. Everywhere somebody look, your posters are everywhere on social media, you're there. You're famous now, but they made you famous. And they say, if I made you famous, I could just take your posters and stuff down. Don't nobody know you no more. You'll just disappear. And then after a while, you do everything they want you to do for a number of years. And you wonder why some of these people get on drugs and stuff, because they realize that they are not even in control of their own life. They don't even know who they are anymore. And they hold over their head. If you don't stop dropping it like it's hot, I'm going to just stop putting your posters up. Why do I always have to wear this outfit? It seems like, look, where will we tell you to wear? Do what we tell you to do. And are you willing to do it for the money? Some of us are, if we were to be honest. Some of y'all, pimp me out all the way. If we were to be honest. In Daniel chapter 1, verse 3, it says, the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, of the king's seed, and of the princes, children whom was no blemish, well-favored, that means attractive, skillful in wisdom and cunning, that means they had education and they were smart, and had knowledge and understanding science, that had ability in them to stand before the king. So in other words, he wanted to put them to work in his kingdom. And he picked the best of the people and treated the rest of them like garbage. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? So it's not no reason why the enemy wants you. So don't think that you don't have anything, because y'all do. Some of us just don't know what we have. See, he wants your ability, your brains, your intellect, your skills, your talent, your youthful strength. It's some things that come with being young. Whether you like it or not, you might not have answered the call to something that God called you to do. You get a certain age, you might not be able to play football no more. You wasted all the time, and now you can't play basketball no more. Some things depend on time and youthful strength. Your creativity, your body, to promote the enemy's agenda. He wants to pip you out, in other words. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? Make you a slave. Next, your identity. Identity. How many of y'all, God forbid if you ever had your identity stolen before. Terrible experience. I know this one guy said, man, I don't got enough money to buy no Bentley. But yet somebody used my credit and my name to buy a Bentley. And then when I went to go try to buy a car, they said I had this Bentley, so they couldn't finance me. He's like, how did that even happen? He probably tried to go get a expensive car. They probably told him his credit wasn't good enough. But anyway, people can steal your identity. That's identity. That's like your digital footprint. But I'm talking about your identity, who God has called you to be. And so what the enemy always wants to do is he wants to change your identity. First thing you got to remember about your identity is that I remember I was in school one day, and I was telling this the other day. I was in school one day. I went to Lakeland Middle School, Baltimore City, and I was standing in front of the teacher. And the teacher looked at us. She said, oh, yeah, something about animals. And I was confused because I came from a Christian home, and I never was taught that humans were animals. And we just evolved from other animals. Like, that's not what the Bible say, you know. Science, you can't even prove that with science. That's philosophy. You can't do a proof for that. You can't prove that because it's not true. It's nothing remotely true that points to that, or that everything that we see in the universe came from an explosion. If I take this bottle right here and I throw it up against this wall, and you're going to see stuff spread everywhere, you ain't going to see no organisms and stuff come out of it, even if you waited 10 billion years. Glass and stuff is going to go everywhere. That's what's going to happen. So if you explode stuff, living stuff, you can't have a body to develop and the eye didn't develop yet, or the heart didn't develop yet. They all have to evolve at the exact same time. So it makes no sense at all. We couldn't be a blob and then the blob decided that it wanted to get an eye and the eye decided it wanted to get a brain. You got to have all that stuff at the same time. If you got an eye without a brain, the computer of your brain not going to talk to your eye. It don't make no sense, but yet we're so gullible to what doesn't make any sense. So they said, you know, we animals or something. And I was confused. I wasn't trying to be rude. I lifted up my hand and I was like, ma'am, we're not animals. And she looked at me like, oh, you didn't know that? Your parents didn't teach you that? And I'm like confused. And I went home. My teacher said we animals. They was like, don't worry about that. I mean, y'all hear what I'm, but still be respectful to your teachers, though. I ain't saying be disrespectful. How many of y'all know sometimes your parents will tell you stuff that you might hear your parents say every cuss word in the book. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? Yes. And if they look at you and say, you don't cuss, guess what? Don't be like, I heard you cussing. No, you don't cuss because they told you and they your parent and they told you not to cuss. But they not even saved, man. Well, they tell you to go to bed. Guess what? Go to bed is right whether they believe in God or not. We're created in the image of God, and there are certain things of the nature of God that God puts in us, even if you don't know God. So if your parents tell you something and they might not practice everything they preach, you should still listen to them. They might not have ever learned how to read. They tell you better go upstairs and study and open that book up. You better go upstairs and open that book and study. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? But some of y'all parents out. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying? Trust me, I talk to a lot of parents and kids, and that kind of come up. After a while, the kid go like, well, you did what you not telling me. You told me don't bring nobody in. You be bringing people in. Well, they shouldn't be doing that, son, but they're your parents. You don't bring nobody in there. You get your own house, you can do what you want to do. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? Between you and God. Glory be to God. So the enemy, in his desire to change their names, it was really about changing their identity, because those names in the old times actually carried a meaning. All those individual names. They carried a meaning. So in changing their names, it was to take them away from their heritage. It's a way to try to direct the course of their purpose. You see what I'm saying? And so there are some things that happen in life or that we do that are our fault. And then sometimes it's other people did something to us. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? So sometimes things come up because you did something. If you smoke weed and it had something in it that made you addicted to crack, that means you didn't know that was going to happen. But you did something and something bad happened. I had a friend. I had to visit him in a mental institution. He didn't smoke something and he lost his mind all the way. And this guy was popular. All the girls in school liked him. He was like a big brother to me. And I visited him in a mental institution. And he pulled out a movie ticket like, look, man, I went to this movie the other day, man. And I could almost cry because he done lost his mind from a substance that he didn't even mean to take in. Look, man, I went to the movies, man. I wanted to show you this, man. And I'm just like about to cry. This man played sports with me. This man, we grew up, like, wow, I visited him and I prayed for him. Found out how he was doing. Found out he was in a mental hospital just from one little decision. And then sometimes it's nothing that we did, and people could do things to us that impact our lives too. And even though it was done to us, we still got to deal with it. And that's unfortunate, and that's not fair. If things that happened to us that you had no control over, but because this happened, it's created responsibility that you have to deal with something that somebody else caused you to experience. How many of you hear what I'm saying today? Things out of your control. So Lion King, how many of y'all saw Lion King before? Y'all saw Lion King? That was a thing. I mean, I guess so I saw Lion King. How many of y'all know Simba was the son and Mufasa was the father, if you remember right? And so Simba just playing around being a kid, Scar wanted to murder Simba. Scar wanted to murder Mufasa. And so the reason that Mufasa died was because of Scar. But the enemy convinced Simba that it was his fault. Now Simba should not have been down there where the animals started stampeding, and he shouldn't have been down there. Right. But his father dying was not his fault. Yeah. And he felt so ashamed of that he ran away. And while he ran away, he forgot his whole identity. He eating worms and stuff, and he a lion. Living like somebody who eats bugs. And then one day he runs into somebody, and somebody says, do you know who you are? You're really the king. You just got to go back home and take your kingdom back. But you just lost who you were. And then sometimes when God is trying to call us back, it's the shame of what we feel like we done, whether we did it or whether we didn't, that will prevent us from going back. But Simba, I commend Simba, even though he's a fictional character. He went back to Pride Rock. How many of y'all hear me today? And he did. And he dealt with Scar. Sometimes you got to deal with the enemy. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Yeah, I know it was some witchcraft in there, but he saw the vision from his father, and his father said, remember who you are. You got to remember who you are. Don't let the enemy rob you of your identity. Don't let the enemy rob you about your identity. Hallelujah. And one of the enemy's strategies is he wants to put enmity between us and our families. How many of you ever thought your parents didn't know nothing? I know none of y'all never thought that. I thought my parents didn't know nothing for a long time. And I remember one day they talked to me about the birds and the bees. And I'm like, how you know about that? That stuff we talk about in school. How you know about that? Like, how you think you got here, boy? I'm like, how you know? But that's what we talk about in school. That's when I found out my friends ain't know what they was talking about. See, you listening to the wrong people. Just go ask the people who know. You think your mother or your father don't know nothing about nothing? You want to really be, talk to... I had the other flip side is I had some uncles tell me some bad stuff to do too. And it kind of worked, but it worked in the wrong, it worked in a way that I should not have been listening to them. You got me? How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? So the enemy will try to put division between the parents and make you think they don't know nothing, because if they can convince you of that, then you can't receive from their experiences, whether good or bad. You got to learn the hard way. You got to learn all over again what they could have just told you. He'll try to make you feel like your parents don't love you. They want to keep you away from having fun. See, that's how some of us feel about God. You don't think God loves you because he don't want you to do certain things. Well, the things that God says that he doesn't want us to do is so that we can live a good life. It's not to keep us from having a good life. Who you think made pleasure? Who you think made things feel good? Who you think made things taste good? Who you think made everything and gave us the ability to perceive what he made and enjoy it? So when you do those things, oh, that felt good. Yeah, that was God that gave you that ability. And you think God don't want you to have fun. I mean, y'all hear what I'm saying today. Don't let them cause division, make you think your parents don't love you. Really what it is, the enemy just wants to influence you and take control over your life, to drive you over the cliff, and you all strung out on drugs and hung out on the street and don't got nowhere to go. That's what the enemy wants. He wants you to be messed up. That's not what your parents want for you. And I leave you with this. The mind. That's the last thing I'm going to talk about, the mind. In order for you to navigate these things, in the event of a situation happening like happened with Daniel and his companions, the 3 Hebrew boys, you got to have a made-up mind. If you don't have a made-up mind, when a person comes to you with the thing that's peer pressure, you cave because you don't have a made-up mind. You got to have a made-up mind before the situation comes, because Daniel had a made-up mind, and that's why when they put all the stuff before Daniel to try to sway his loyalty to them as opposed to his God, he said that he determined in his heart that he would not defile himself. You got to determine in your heart that you're not going to defile yourself. And what do I mean when I say defile? See, the enemy has a way, talking about the devil, he has a way of trying to get us linked up with things that God hates. And that's how he tries to destroy us. He tries to get us acquainted with things that God hates, because the things that God hates will cause our lives to spiral in a way that we don't want them to go. It will try to remove us from the identity of God and the plans of God that he has for our life. So if you have a made-up mind, when those times come, you won't give in because your mind is made up. See, your parents can't always do it for you. One day you're going to be in your own place, and if you're going to come to church, you're going to have to make your own decision. Your parents ain't going to tell you to get up. Some of y'all, your parents still wake you up and tell you to brush your teeth and wash your face and put lotion on your face. How do I know? Because I got kids. At some point, you got to learn how to take care of yourself. When you going to go to school, they're going to say, you stink, man. Why your hair look like that? Why you look funny? If I go, like, they don't have a rule to say it, but if I go to work dressing funny, if I tell the truth, I go to work dressing funny and looking funny, I won't get promoted. Am I telling the truth? You work at my job. I won't get promoted. If I go to work dressing funny, looking funny, they're not going to say why I got fired, but they're going to find a way to get rid of you. They just ain't going to tell you what it was. They're going to find a way. Because there ain't no rule say I can't wear a pink suit. Let me go to work wearing pink suits every day and some funny jackets that's weird every day. They're going to look at me, they're going to look at each other, and they're going to find a way that I'm going to be out of there. They're going to find some kind of way. They're not going to have that representing their company. Now, if it's in the private sector, they're just going to fire you. But I work in the government, so it ain't going to be that easy. They got to take some steps. It might take them a few months to get rid of me. How many of y'all hear what I'm saying today? So you got to have a made-up mind. Make sure you listen to your parents. And they're not going to always be around. So you got to resolve that you want to do this thing in yourself. Because at some point, it's going to come down between you and God. And you got to decide for yourself who you want to serve. And if your parents ain't there, what you going to do? You going to follow Satan and start doing the other stuff, or you going to follow what you heard in church? Follow God. So I pray that you heard the word today. Remember your identity. Remember who you are. Remember what God has for you. Remember the call that he has on your life. Remember what's before you. Remember your parents love you. They're not here to give you a hard time. I thought it too, and I found out it wasn't true. I'm like, damn, it was just me acting silly. Yeah, I got it. You ain't got to worry about what you're going to buy, what you're going to eat. Parents pay for all that for you. Come on now. Come on, I'm about to pray, y'all. See, I told y'all that was going to be short. Now, that was about 15, 20 minutes, that one. Hallelujah. Come on, stand to your feet. We're going to go ahead and grade it. Close out. Before I close out, anybody desiring prayer, I want you to come down to the front so we can pray. You can leave that table there. I'm going to just move more. Don't worry about the table. Anybody want prayer today? Come on down to the front. We'll go ahead and pray. Glad to pray if you want prayer.